The story begins and we see a boy whose name was Irumasuzuki. He was 14 years old, incapable of refusing polite requests, and works hard to support his parents. One day he was working on tuna fishing boat. While working, all tuna fishes starts falling on him. But suddenly it stops falling and frees in the air. Suddenly Iruma gets kidnapped to the netherworld by a demon. The name of the demon was Sullivan. He tells Iruma that his parents has sold his soul to him. Sullivan brings Iruma to his mansion and asks him to be his grandchild. He begs in front of Iruma. We see that Iruma has a weakness: he can never say no to someone. That's why he had to agree to Sullivan's offer. The Sullivan shows Iruma his new bedroom and gives him some new clothes. He also tells him that he is going to enroll him in the demon school, where he must keep his human identity secret, or you can get eaten by other demons. Sullivan sprays some potion on Iruma, by which his human smell will disappear. After that he tells him to sleep now because he had to go to the school early and leaves from there. In the next morning Iruma wakes up and get ready for school. Sullivan and Iruma takes a picture together of his first day of school. Sullivan comes to drop Iruma to the demon school and leaves from there. Iruma sees the giant demon school and see the students flying and coming to the school. Iruma gets into the school and attends the opening ceremony for first-year students, where they all sing the demon anthem. The anthem was about eating humans, which makes Iruma very scared. Iruma then sees the principal of the school, which was his grandfather Sullivan. He gets very shocked. Then Sullivan introduces Iruma to everyone as his grandchild. Then announcer asks the first-year representative Modius to give the speech, but Sullivan makes Iruma to give the speech. Iruma gets on the stage, but don't know what to say. So Sullivan gives him a speech in a demon language, and asks him to just read it. Iruma starts reading the speech, and everyone gets in shock, and starts cheering for him. The announcer comes to Iruma, stops him for saying the forbidden spells. Actually the speech was the dangerous spells, to prevent Iruma from tripping or falling. After that Modius comes to Iruma, and challenges him for a duel for taking his spot for speech. Modius attacks Iruma, but he dodges all his attacks for 30 minutes. Iruma was good at dodging, because from his childhood his scumbag's parents always put him in dangerous situations, which had developed a superhuman ability in him of dodging the danger. Seeing him dodging Modius attacks, other students assume that Iruma refused to fight back, because he considered Modius as weakling. Modius gets very angry and attacks Iruma with his fire sword, but he misses the attack, and almost was going to hurt a girl. Iruma tries to grab Modius, but accidentally gives him a German suplex instead. The news spread throughout the school because of the newspapers. All students start talking about Iruma. After that Modius comes to Iruma, and happily declares himself as his servant. Sullivan gets very happy for Iruma by seeing his progress. On the next day Iruma was having breakfast with Sullivan. Iruma tries the demon food for the first time and he loves it. Iruma tries to talk with Sullivan about refuse to attend the demon school, but he says it. Sullivan shows more gifts he had bought for him. Seeing how happy Sullivan was, he don't talk about the school. After that Iruma goes to the school, where Modius was waiting for him for 6 hours. Modius informs Iruma that they both are in the same class. He also tells him that they have to first summon a beast. The strength of their beast will determine their demonic rank, and in which class they are going to be placed. They comes in room where they are going to summon their beast. Suddenly the advisor comes there. His name was Navarus Caligo. He is very strict teacher. He do not like Iruma, because he was the grandson of the principal. Afterwards students start summoning the beast. They performed a ceremony using their blood on summoning parchments marked. One by one all students summons to their beast. Modius chants arrives. He summons a fire-breathing gorgon snake, which looks very powerful. Iruma gets very impressed from Modius. Now Iruma chants come, but he don't have summoning power, because he was a human. He accidentally summons the Caligo, and he turns him in a cute beast. Everyone gets very shocked because no one has summoned a demon before. Caligo gets very angry on Iruma. He tries to attack Iruma, but because of the summoning parchment he cannot attack his master. Caligo and Iruma goes to Sullivan. Sullivan laughs at them and tells them that beast summoning contract is unbreakable, which means Caligo has to stay as Iruma's beast for an entire year. This news spread all over the school, and everyone was talking about him only. After some time Iruma meets with a hyperactive demon girl named Vala Clara. Modius warns Iruma not to speak with her, because she was a weirdo and other students tries to avoid her. Clara asks Iruma and Modius to play with her. She says please, by which Iruma has to play with her. Because of Iruma, Modius also has to play with her. Clara shows them she has magical pocket, by which she can copy any object she sees. Iruma learns that some demons manipulate Clara for free food and drinks. Clara tells him that she bribes the students to be her friends. On the next day Iruma comes to school again. Clara tries to bribe Iruma but he rejects it, which upset the Clara. Thinking that Iruma do not want to be her friend, Clara starts crying. Iruma explains her that he loves to play with her, and he want to be her friend without the bribes. This makes Clara so happy. Other students tries to manipulate her again, so she throws the drinks machine at their face. Later Modius comes there, and they start playing pink dodge ball. On next day Iruma comes out of his house and sees that Modius and Clara is waiting for him, and they all goes to school together. When Iruma comes to the school he sees that students' rank will decide what type of food they will get. Iruma was very confused what he should take, so he asked Modius to bring him some as same as his. Some students makes a prank on them and order 50 servings, but Iruma eats all of it. Seeing the appetite of Iruma, everyone gets very shocked. The chef gets tried and faints down. Clara gets into the trouble with snack stall owner, who thinks her replicating pockets a form of shoplifting. Suddenly Caligo arrives there, and he sees the Iruma. Clara wants to see Iruma beast, so Iruma to turn Caligo into the cute little beast. The stall owner starts attacking them, and everyone runs from there. But Caligo gets captured by the stall owner. Iruma asks Clara and Modius to be his friends, but they both gets very confused, because they never heard the word friend. Then Iruma explains them the true meaning of friend, and they agrees to become his friends. On other side Sullivan had held an important meeting, where it was decided that Iruma, Clara, and Modius will all be placed in the same class. At breakfast Sullivan tells Iruma what he had done. While going to school Modius asked Iruma, "Why don't you go to the school by flying?" Then Modius guessed that he doing a special training for his stamina. In school they tries to find their class, and they sees the arrow showing the direction. They start following it and it takes them into the cave, where they finds their classroom. When Iruma enters the class, he gets attacked by some weapons. Somehow he dodges all the weapon. Seeing his dodging skill everyone gets very impressed. Actually his new classmate had put bet on him how many weapons he can dodge. In the class Iruma meets a tall muscular demon, whose name is Sabnik Sabro. He tells Iruma he is going to be powerful than everyone's around here, and plans to become the next Demon King. Iruma learns that to become Demon King, they had to get 10 demonic ranks. The 10th rank is the strongest and Demon King is always choose from it only. Sabro tells them that he was put in their class because he tried to defeat a teacher. Caligo arrives in the class and takes everyone's attendance. After that he everyone on a mountain and set a task to determine their ranks. He set a race and instructs everyone and tells them there are 2 paths. One with long path but safe, and other short but very dangerous. Caligo tells everyone to go from the long path, because in the short path there is a guardian beast which attacks the demons. The race begins and everyone goes flying. But Iruma does not have the demon wings. The impatient Caligo push Iruma down from the mountain. Sabro flies straight at the Uradian's route, hoping to defeat him and get high rank. We see Iruma carried off by demonic crow. After being rolled up from cliff, Iruma was caught by demon crows. The demonic crow accidentally dropped him in a guardian's nest, where Iruma sees its giant baby, whose leg was injured. Iruma cuts his hand, shows the baby how he is going to cover his wound. But accidentally Iruma's blood spells on the bird's injury. Actually human's blood can heal any injury of a demon. The baby bird became very happy and offers Iruma for a ride. On other side we see Sabro fighting with the Guardian. Sabro tries to attack Guardian with various weapons, but he still loses from the Guardian. Guardian was going to kill Sabro. Suddenly Iruma comes in between and stops the Guardian. The Guardian's baby talks with his mother and tell her Iruma had helped him. Sabro picks the weapon again to attack Guardian, but Iruma asks him to put the weapon down. The Guardian bows to Iruma, thanking him for helping his baby. Everyone had came on the finish line, but still Sabro and Iruma was missing. Suddenly everyone sees the giant Guardian coming towards them, and they sees Iruma and Sabro riding them. Everyone gets in shock and impressed from Iruma. The Guardian drops Iruma and Sabro at finish line, and leaves from there. Caligo punish Iruma and Sabro, because they came from wrong path. Caligo explains everyone about the rank owl, who was watching everyone. They all was going to give everyone their ranks. Modius came first and Clara second. So Modius gets his rank and it was 4th rank badge, and Clara gets the 3rd rank badge. Saburo thanks Iruma for saving him and declares him as his rival. Everyone gets their batch. Now Iruma's turns come. He comes to all, and puts his hand in his pouch that all flies away. Everyone gets in shock. They sees that Iruma got a ring instead of a badge. Startled Saburo recalls a prophecy, that the next demon king will make other demons his servants, and heals their injuries with his blood. He will be a foreigner, and wear a solo man's ring. Iruma tries to remove it but won't come out. Iruma sees the black demon on his hand. He gets very scared. The black demon has a power to draining the power from other demons. The ring demon threatens the Caligo. Caligo was going to cut Iruma's finger. Suddenly Sullivan arrives and stops him. The black demon attacks Sullivan, but he sent the demon back in the ring. Sullivan explains Iruma about the ring. He tells him that rings is gluttonous feeder. It drains the other's demon's power. Iruma didn't get the ranked badge. He ended up having the lowest rank. The recent events makes Iruma very famous among the other demon students. On next day Sullivan comes to drop the Iruma in his custom-made carriage. He drops Iruma at school, and gives him a new phone by which he can call him anytime when he needs him. The class begins and Caligo takes everyone's attendance, and tells everyone to bath properly, because they are going to meet with other teachers. Everyone attends the other teacher's lecture. In last they came to the tower to learn about plants, where they meet Miss Susie, which shows the students how to grow the plant with their power. Everyone tries to grow their plant. Saburo produces a feral flower which eats everything it sees. Modius creates a beautiful flower with fire petals. Everyone creates their different types of flowers. In last Clara creates her flower which looks very ugly. Seeing it everyone laughs at her. Having no powers, Iruma says the spell as a joke, while thinking a cherry blossom tree. But suddenly magic burst out from the ring, as Sullivan calls Iruma telling him that he forgot to tell him that he had put some of his power in the ring, by which him can also use the magic, but he forgot to put the limit. The tree gets very big, destroying the greenhouse, by which everyone sees the tree. The student council president Azazel Amiri recognizes the tree as a human plant. She suspects that Iruma is a human. Amiri reveals that most demons do not believe about human existence, but Amiri family has a library of sacred relics which were Japanese comics. Amiri was obsessed with the first Love Memory series, but she don't know read Japanese language, so she mistakenly concluded it is manual of human love spells. We then see Iruma trying to clean the leaves falling from cherry blossom. He asked some cleaners for any help, so they gave him a task of throwing all garbage out of the school. Modius comes there and burns all the garbage. Clara tries to help but makes more mess instead. After the work done, Iruma leaves and knocks Amiri over. Iruma tries to help Amiri. She recognizes the similarity to a romance scene from First Love Memories. She thinks Iruma is trying to make her fall in love with him, using human magic spell. Amiri concludes that Iruma must be a human being. Iruma assumes that Amiri is angry with him, while Amiri assumes she is in a magical love duel with Iruma. Suddenly the comic falls and Iruma grabs it and reads it. Amiri realizes that he can read Japanese, rather revealing Iruma is a human. She drags him into her office, and make him read the comic out loud. Iruma start reading the comic. After reading the comic, Iruma sees the many missed calls from his grandfather. Amiri puts her number into Iruma's phone, so she can ask him to read for her again. After that Iruma leaves from there. In the next morning the opera asks Iruma that, "Do you have any desire to return to the human world?" On which Iruma can't decide if he prefers his old life or his new life. Opera informs him that if wished to return human world, he would only had to graduate with a high rank. Thus it will open the gate to the human world. While in the school Iruma was summoned by the Amiri many times, for reading the comics. Modius and Clara become very suspicious and they starts following him. They see Iruma and Amiri together, which makes them think that they are dating. Clara becomes very angry, tries to fight, but Modius stops her. Iruma starts reading the comic for Amiri, where he asks Amiri if he had any dream, where she tells him she wants to hang out with a man. Then she asks Iruma about his ambition. He tells Amiri that he don't have any ambition or dream. Suddenly Clara breaks the door, drags Iruma from there. Clara becomes very jealous and she thinks that Amiri will take her Iruma away from her. Not letting this happens, so she joins the seduction class, in which students are taught how to be sexy. The first day of the seduction class where everyone meets teacher Rame. The Rame has ability to seize other sexiness. She sees everyone's sexiness and last she sees a Clara. where she finds out that Clara is only 2% sexy. She gets in shock, because newly born child has 3% sexy. So she gives Clara some special books to read to increase her sexiness. Clara reads the books and tries some seducing techniques on Iruma, but he thinks that she wants to play with him. In last, Clara tries to kiss Iruma, but he dodges her, and she accidentally hits the Caligo. He punished her to write on the board 100 times. Clara admits that she had 0% sexiness and she becomes very sad. Iruma comes to Clara and tell her that he consider her as girl. This restores the confidence of Clara, and she declares that she will make him fall for her. Iruma feels unusual in his heart, as she pulls him along holding his hand. The Rame sees that Clara's sexiness has increased to 10%, wondering what would happen. Iruma also decides to become an upper rank, so he asks Modius to help him climb the ranks. Modius overreacts, and starts planning to make Iruma 10th rank, and rule the demon school, though Iruma assures him he would be content with making it to 2nd rank only. Modius agrees, assuming that Iruma has a complicated reason for becoming 2nd rank only. Modius then tells Iruma the best way to score an upcoming rank promotion exam. Based on execution cannonball, it is a dangerous competition similar to the human's dodgeball. Clara removes some cursed puppets from her pouch, by which they can have more player to play. They starts playing soon. The Sabro and other his classmates also come there. They also start playing with their demonic power. Seeing them playing like that, Iruma gets very sacred. So Iruma asks Sullivan to train him. Sullivan agrees to train Iruma. He trains Iruma how to use the power of his ring in the match. But Iruma decides that he wants to compete the exam with his own skills, and not the magic of the ring. So Sullivan strengthens the Iruma's hands to give him a fair chance, and leaves from there, telling Opera to train Iruma. In the starting, Iruma struggles a lot to catch the ball, as his instinct is still dodging the ball. Iruma refuses to give up and even asks Modius and Clara for his help. After training for weeks, he wasn't able to catch the ball. Eventually, Iruma manages to catch the ball. Everyone gets very happy. Opera tells Sullivan that Iruma is ready for the exam. The day of the exam comes. Caligo explains the rules of game, and explains their ranks will be increased based on the opponent they defeat. Modius and Iruma were divided into 2 different teams. Modius gets very angry, but he had no choice. He decides to help Iruma in the exam. The match begins and Clara uses her power and floods the court with multiple balls. Iruma managed to catch the real ball, but he realizes that he never learned to throw the ball. But Sabro takes the ball from Iruma and throws at Modius. Modius catches the ball with a single hand. Slowly everyone gets eliminated. In last, only Modius and Iruma remains. Modius thinks to give the ball to Iruma, but seeing his determination for the exam, and his training he had done for exam, he decides to throw the ball with his full power. Almiri also comes there to watch the match. Modius throws the ball with his full power. Iruma manages to overcome his fear and catches the ball with his full strength, and redirect its direction at Modius. The ball hits the Modius. Iruma and his team wins the match. Everyone gets very happy. Caligo gets impressed by Iruma's tactics and promote him to 2nd rank. Iruma feels very happy and Amiri also congratulates Iruma. He finally gets an ambition to achieve. Iruma comes home, tells his grandfather and Opera that he had won. He thanks Opera for training him. Sullivan gets jealous because he also helped him a little. The next day Iruma comes to school, where we see with Amiri reading comic A for her. Afterwards he attends the lecture, where he meets a new teacher, Robin Boss. He begins the lecture about importance of bonding with your beast. Modius and Sabro summons their Gorgon snake and Kelby horse. Clara summons her Fawful, a rare beast whose actions are mysterious. Later Robin asks Iruma to summon his beast. He tries to refuse, but Robin says please, so he summons the Caligo. Caligo becomes very angry on Iruma, but agrees to help in the class and get him highest score. Robin reminds Iruma that he had to control his beast according to the book, which was written by Caligo. Caligo has to play fetch with Iruma and had to bring the disc to him. Caligo gets embarrassed. Iruma sincerely apologized to Caligo. So Caligo asks him why didn't he summon him to fight with the Valley Guardian. He explains that he don't want the Guardian, or Caligo would get the hurt. Modius and Sabro tries to fight each other with their beast, but Caligo comes in between and defeats their beast, and scolds Modius and Sabro. Then tells all students that beasts are powerful, violent monsters, which can only kept in check by their contracts. The summoner should train it properly while also fearing them. Iruma does this to Caligo. Then Kalego gets angry on Robin and tells him to rethink on his teaching style. In the Katini, Modius tells Iruma about the battlers, the group of students with similar interests, who forms the group with other students who has similar interests, by which they can help each other to raise their ranks like school clubs. Iruma decides to join one of the battlers, to find a new ambition and to raise his rank again. So Modius tries to prepare Iruma as the senior battlers begins their rookie hunt. Seniors tries to recruit Modius, but he covers himself in a flame barrier. The hunt was so brutal that the first year's students were actually getting physically hurt. Amiri and his monitors comes there, where Iruma finds out that Amiri is the student council. Amiri comes to Iruma and invites him to join the councils. After that the rookie hunt overs. Kalego announces that for the next 3 days they are going for a battler's trial period, where students can try different battlers, by which they can decide to join which battler group. Clara shows her interest into the Reims battler. Iruma struggles to decide which battler he should join. Suddenly his rings gets activated and drags him to a student, whose name was Kiryo, whose necklace was also made from the same metal as the Iruma's ring. That's why the ring gets attracted to the Kiryo's necklace. After meeting Kiryo, Iruma visits many battlers, but most of them are dangerous in some way. At home Sullivan alters the Iruma's ring so he can aegis the power of magic. He also tells Iruma about the ring's modes, devil mode then, the demon mode then, the Ifrit mode and last, Pandarola, which should used in the emergencies. Iruma comes at dodgeball battlers where he tests his ring's power. The members of council were confused over Amiri's sudden enthusiasm for battlers. After that Amiri texts Iruma to reminding him to visit her council battler before the trial period ends. Suddenly an explosion occurs near Iruma which was caused by Kiryo. Amiri thinks that Iruma is scared from her, when he had find out that she is the council president. We see Kiryo who explain Iruma about his researches, and how he creates his magical items, but he cannot use them because he don't have enough magic. He tells Iruma that he has a dream, to allow weaker demons to stand up to higher level demons. Hearing this Iruma gets impressed from Kiryo, and he decides to join his battler, which was after Modius, and Clara also joins the Kiryo's battler. Hearing this Kiryo gets very happy and faints. We see Amiri which looks very depressed, because Iruma didn't show up to her. Suddenly Iruma comes, but the trial period was over. He says sorry to Amiri for coming late. Amiri forgives him for coming late and serve him a cup of tea. Then Iruma tells Amiri that he had joined another battler, which makes Amiri very angry. After this it takes 2 hours to explain the situation to Amiri. On the next day there was a battler party. Actually it is a parents' meeting for first-year students. Sullivan was not able to come at Iruma's battler party, because he was at the 13's dinner, which was the meeting of 13 greatest heroes of Netherworld, where they discuss who is going to be the next Demon King, because the Netherworld is falling into chaos without the Demon King. They thinks they should choose one from Sullivan, or Levi or Belial as the Demon King. Belial and Levi agree to Sullivan should take the throne, but Sullivan refuses the offers by which he will have less time to spend with his grandchild. Henry, one of the member of 13's and Amiri's father, has to arrest Sullivan, because he got in evidence against him, that he legally visited human world, and then he was questioned by the demon border control. In school we see that first-year students panics, because their parents are coming to school. Iruma also becomes little nervous. Sullivan appoints the Professor Kalego as temporary school's director, while other staff wonders what did Sullivan had done by which he got arrested. We see Iruma and others in Kiryo's lab, where Kiryo tells Iruma that all battlers has to give presentation competing for prize. By this, their rank will also increase. But the magical apparatus battlers do not have a budget, by which they can build a camp. Everyone gets very demotivated, until Iruma suggests everyone they can create the fireworks. For testing the fireworks it requires darkness. So Kiryo suggests that they should stay in the school overnight. While creating the gunpowder, Kiryo shows everyone that he has an ability to create magical barrier. This is the only reason by which he had survived so many explosions. Kiryo don't know how does fireworks looks, so ask Iruma for an example. Iruma gets an idea and goes to Amiri, where he asks for her comic, by which Kiryo can see how firework looks. Amiri refuses to give the comic, until she realizes that she can get to see the real fireworks, so she gives him the comic. Iruma shows it to everyone. After that they successfully creates the fireworks, and test it in open ground. At night they sleeps in Kiryo's lab where they play pillow fight. After that they all gets very exhausted. We later knows the real truth of Kiryo, who was assigned by a powerful demon named Ball, which uses lighting magic. We also understands that he is the reason Sullivan got arrested. He was planning with Kiryu to create a machine which destroys the school. Afterwards, it is announced the battler party will last 3 days, and the winners of the battler's rank will get increased. Hearing this, everyone gets very happy and excited. We see Kiryu, who has a secret room, in which he had made a machine, which can destroy the whole school. They shows a flashback in, which we finds out because of Iruma. Kiryu was able to complete the machine. Suddenly Iruma enters the room, who has been dragged by his ring to Kiryu's necklace when he wants to meet him. Kiryu reveals to Iruma that he had secret workshop hidden on the school's roof, which has one-way and soundproof glass. They both comes in battler's party. There they sees firework cannon, and sees the decoration of it which was made by Clara. Finally the battler party begins. Everyone comes at the party and they decides to look at others battlers competition. Iruma eats all the food of yakisoba battlers, knocking them out of the competition, and leaving them with no ingredients. Iruma classmates tells him that they are his competitors. The new magic battlers are going to generate the water from the rock. The game Battlers has a virtual sorcery hat that allows people to experience virtual reality. Modius instructs others that they will set of their main firework as the school bell rings to signal the start of competition. But Clara accidentally lights the fuse, but it misfires. They all realizes that their main firework is missing, because the Kiryu has stolen the firework and brought it to his workshop. Amiri's father possesses evidence which was given by Ball of Sullivan kidnapped Iruma. As the sun sets down, Kiryu begins his plan and breaks the necklace in his neck, and then the school's buildings get covered by many barriers. Iruma finds that he has been separated from Clara and Modius. Caligo breaks the barrier and finds out that it has self-repairing power. It means the barrier can only break by 10th rank demons such as Sullivan. It means Sullivan. Arrest was already planned. Caligo manages move through before they can repair by breaking the walls. The other teacher announced that these barriers are a maze by the new magic and game battler. Everyone gathers at the courtyard. Afterwards Caligo understands that they were manipulated to come at courtyard. Kiryu then loads the giant firework into the machine, but suddenly he realizes that Iruma is coming towards him, somehow finding his way towards him. Even though Kiryu had destroyed his necklace, a flashback reveals as Modius uses magical map to seize the route to Kiryu, and instruct his direction to Iruma. A part of school collapse and Amiri saves the student from getting killed. We see that Iruma finally reaches at Kiryu's secret lab. Iruma meets Kiryu and sees the machine. He asked him, "What are you planning to do?" On that, Kiryu reveals his plan to use the firework to destroy the school. He also tells him his story, that his family was famous for their barriers and magical strength. When he was born with weak magic, he was sent to the Garden of Delinquents, where he was bullied by the other students. But he made one friend who liked to talk with him. One day a bully stole her earning and threw it in the river. Kiryu tries to catch it with his barrier, but begin weak the barrier break down, and the earning falls into the river. The girls leaves from the school, leaving Kiryu behind alone in the school. Kiryu then realized that he loves to enjoy watching people's despair. Kiryu tells that Ball believes that demons are too nice compared to their society's evil past. Kiryu plans to enjoy Iruma's despair, saying that he will blow up Modius and Clara. But however, Iruma seems unconcerned, and calmly removes the firework from the machine. Kiryu was very confused. Iruma explains that from his childhood he had never felt despair. Kiryu also realizes that Iruma is not like him. Iruma unlocks the ring's Ifrit mode and throws the firework in the sky. The firework hits the barrier, but it won't break the barrier. So Iruma turns on Ring's Pandora power, by which the barrier breaks apart, and the explosion happens. Everyone sees the firework first time and becomes very happy. Iruma passes out, but Kiryu saves him from falling off the roof by his barrier power. He admits his defeat and that Iruma has better ambition than him. Iruma wakes up and sees Sullivan, who had came back from jail. Sullivan tells Iruma that Caligo had sent him a message earlier, so he came back in the school. When he returns, he saw the fireworks and stops it from falling on the school. Afterwards he arrested the Kiryu and investigated him. After that, Kiryu was taken away by the police. Sullivan thanks Caligo for protecting the school. Everyone gets impressed by Iruma by his fireworks. The battler party starts again. Modius and Iruma prepares the remaining fireworks. Clara's whole family shows up, and they meet Iruma and Modius. Afterwards, Modius' mother also comes and meets Iruma. She tells Iruma that he always talks about him only at home. Sullivan also comes and meet Iruma and they enjoys the festival together. At night Iruma, Clara, and Modius sets off the fireworks. Iruma declares his new family to be his joy and pride, and they take a photograph together. Afterwards the votings were over. The Battler Party winners were going to announced on the closing spectacular. Everyone was too excited for the Battler ceremony. The third place goes to Succubus Battler. They gets in luxurious Battler room. Second place goes to the new Magic Battler. They get full magical equipments. And the grand prize goes to the Broadcast Battler. Afterwards Caligo grabs the mic and gives a secret news. He announces an extra award which has been created. The prize for that was one member of the Battler will go up by 1 rank. And the winners of the secret award were Magical Apparatus Battler. Iruma takes the award from Caligo and his rank get increased. Afterwards Sullivan congratulates Iruma. We see that Amiri's father Henry takes an interest in Iruma. Amiri then summons Iruma to read the comic. Afterwards Iruma meets Henry. And Henry tells Iruma that he had met a human once, and he had helped him to return human world. He begins to ask Iruma does he wants to go back but gets interrupted by Amiri. Iruma finds out that Henry is a father of Amiri. Henry asks Amiri, do you know Iruma from earlier? Where she tells him that Iruma is an outstanding demon, which has recently got many achievements. Henry gets suspicious and asks Amiri how to do know Iruma so better. She accidentally bursts out that they are spending some time together, where she tells him that they talk about love and relationships. This news shocks the Henry and he became unconscious. Clara and Modius come to Iruma. We see that Iruma does not want to go again in the human world. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video please like and subscribe to the channel.